Welcome, everybody, to the U16 pod. I'm Ryan MacArthur.
And I'm Connor Williams, and welcome back to the U16 pod for another season of fun with myself and Ryan here. This season, we got the 2006 born age group here in the U16 AAA kind of loop here, Ryan. And before we get started with anything relating to hockey here, I do want to let our listeners or our audience know that we are moving to video as well this year. We're going to be putting our content on YouTube along with the usual audio. So if you still want to catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those fun podcast platforms, you can catch us on those. But if you kind of want to check us out on video, put a maybe face to the voice that you've been hearing for so long, you can check us out on YouTube there, as we'll have that going there soon. So I think Ryan and I are excited about that. We get to see the players. We'll be putting some highlights in with the players and the interviews going there. But obviously as well, usually check out our social media too, as we got that going. But just some news there for all our audience members there, just to check out the YouTube if you're interested in that, Ryan.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's good to be. I don't know, adds another element to it, having the video out there, and especially for the interviews. I think our listeners are gonna really enjoy that, to see players when we're interviewing them, and it's just another thing that we're going to add this year. It's a little bit more work with all the processes we go through, but no, it's great. It's a good thing, I think.
No, absolutely. And I guess we kind of covered that, so we'll jump in. The season's kind of got going here a bit in a way here with the U16 group, but the Alliance and the ETA there out west, the Alliance, and then the Eastern AAA group, they've got going right off the bat here early. So we'll start with the Alliance here, as just kind of give a recap of so far, I guess the first three or 4 weeks here of the season that they've had, Ryan. Kind of early on, the London Junior Knights, I got them pegged as a kind of top 10 team just to begin the season. I think you did as well, Ryan. And they're already off to a hot start in the Alliance there. 5-0, just undefeated so far, 10 points. They were at the Dufton, and we'll jump into the Dufton a bit later on. But London's off to a hot start, which is good to see. They got some great talent there. You'll mention some names later on as it pertains to how their success was at the Dufton and all that. But London's off to a quick start. Windsor and Huron Perth, only a loss each. So both off to quick start. So definitely a couple teams keep an eye on there in the Alliance. Waterloo's played 5 games, and their only loss this season has come to London. So tight in the Alliance to start the season here. I know Brantford's a team as well, who's in there. They've only played 4 games, so they've got 6 points. So they've got some games at hand, and they'll probably look to catch up. But Brantford's a team to keep an eye on there, Ryan, I think as well.
Definitely.
But I think also, I'd say after the Alliance, obviously I mentioned the ETA season got going there. Obviously, I think early on, per usual, just kind of like the 04 group, man. Quinte up top, leading the way early.
Yeah. Quinte's really strong. Like, obviously they won the London tournament, the Dufton tournament. 5-0 start the year. Big wins too. Like, if you look at the scores, they're not just squeaking by and getting wins. They're getting big wins, like 7-1, 5-1. Quinte is a really, really good team. Like, when I look at their team, they've got great goaltending, and kind of works out from there. Good D, really, really deep group of forwards as well, and some stars up front. So watch out for Quinte. Like, I had them as one of my top teams. You mentioned London earlier in the Alliance doing well. I had them as one of my top teams preseason as well. But yeah, in the ETA, Quinte is going to be tough to beat for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll look at the rest of the ETA there as well. It's fairly tight, obviously, to start the season. Everything's kind of figuring itself out. So a lot of teams are obviously finding their way and all that. But just York Simcoe as well. Clarington off to a quick start, off to a solid kind of start. They've got a couple guys, Blake Wright, Jacob Therrien, who we'll get into a little bit later on. But also Richmond Hill, Oshawa, they're off to quick starts. Richmond Hill, 9 points through 6 games here so far. And Oshawa has 9 points through 7 games. So it's tight, but Quinte's off to a hot start there, leading the way. Obviously, you mentioned Quinte. won the Dufton tournament. And Ryan, you got the chance to be at the Dufton. Um, what was that? What was the Dufton like? What was it like to be back in that rink there?
Honestly, it was just awesome to be back in the rink. Like I got to hang out with you one day at the Markham tournament. But as you mentioned, like I spent most of the time in London at the Dufton, and it was unbelievable. Like just to be back in the rinks, watching hockey games. Like I love tournaments just because it's just like back to back games and get a lot of hockey in a weekend. And I really paid for it. Like I went every day, all day, and I was just a mess after. Like I was so tired, and I don't know, like if a lot of people like spending a lot of time in those cold rinks, like kind of get that fatigue and whatever. And I kind of missed it in a way, which is weird, but like really, really great to be back. And that Quinte team was great. A lot of standout players, which I'm going to go through here, that impressed me for sure.
No, it's great. I mean, we had a pretty good system there. Especially, I know you showed up at the Markham on the Sunday, but
Yeah.
just we both split. I got to go to the Markham one on the Friday and the Sunday. Attended all day on Sunday. In addition, because I had to work at the Ice Dogs game on the Saturday night. So Friday and Sunday I was at the Markham, but you just grinded at the Dufton there Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Oh
just
man,
taking
crazy.
all that hockey in. But the Dufton was, I mean, there was some interest. It was probably interesting. And there was probably some unexpected kind of results, I guess you could say, as the tournament progressed. There was probably some favorites. Obviously, Quinte was probably an early favorite. I mean, they had that early loss, but obviously some teams that really, obviously, actually, Quinte got to avenge that loss to Elgin
Yeah.
in the final there. But obviously, there was a lot of kind of I get almost upsets, I guess you could say, in a way, but different results. But it's early in the season. It's interesting to get a first look at these teams. And I know you had a great time getting to look at many different teams.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It was great. Um, yeah, like yeah, some results kind of surprise you, but that's minor hockey, right? Like it's it's AAA hockey, so there's a lot of talent. Any team can kind of beat anybody in a sense. Like maybe not like the lower end teams versus the higher end teams, but like when you get into the teams that are like, I mean, ranked like 8th to 20th or 8th to 30th, like anything can happen in those games, right? There's a lot of talented players in this province, and yeah, like I want to go through some of the guys that really specifically impressed me. And I'm going to start with a couple 2007 born players that are actually playing up. So Ryan Robrook, he's a left center from the London Junior Knights. He was really, really good in the tournament, one of the top players overall. So he's playing a year up, and he was, leading scorer in the tournament overall, goals and assists for points. Yeah, Ethan Tom's led in goals, but Robrook, like just dominant. Got a lot of different goals. Like he likes to do his forehand deke far post, and he got that one a few times, which is really, really nice to watch. And um, does those big long loops on the power play and comes in, rips snapshots, and he's just a nightmare to contain. And it's interesting to watch. Like he could possibly be an exceptional status player. Like you look at it, top scorer in the tournament. He's off to a good start. It's hard to say at this point. Like I wouldn't say he was flat out dominating, but I'd say he's close to that exceptional status. And there was other 07s as well. Like even on London, his teammate Ethan Weir was really good, right winger, really solid player. And another 2007 that impressed was Brady Martin, right center from the Waterloo Wolves. His kind of go-to move is like the backhand deke. He likes to go to the backhand and put it upstairs. So I'm giving away these guys their best moves. So goalies, listen up. But they pull off their signature breakaway moves, like like pretty much any breakaway they get, right? So Brady Martin, really, really good player. Another guy I saw in the summer dominating. So Martin and Robrook were the big ones. Weir was another one I really liked. But yeah, let's get into the 2006s that impressed. The big two I had were Ethan Toms, Quinte, and Jacob Therrien, Clarington. So we're going to push those ones back because those are the guys I interviewed. So we'll talk about them a little bit later. But Also on Quinte, Mike McIver is a really, really good goalie. Like he's a 6 foot plus. I mean, like he got a shutout in the final. To start the ETA, he's got like a .67 goals against average. So he's just been unbelievable so far this season. Really athletic, like really, really good technically, and his lateral movement side to side is insane. Like cross crease pass, like he gets over to like all those pucks and stops all those plays. It's really impressive to watch. So look out for him. And from Quinte, I also like Brayden Rogers, right defenseman. Really, really smooth player, really, really great skater, like excellent skater overall. I think his mom was a figure skater, so it comes by it honestly. And yeah, like just in 2 games, the one day he had 4 goals and 2 assists. And, I mean, he had one nice like snapshot, ripped it far down. It was gorgeous. Heck of a player. Like Ben Danford's another one, right defenseman from Quinte. Like obviously, like he wears 77, big tall defenseman. He does about everything good. Overall, like just give me a little break talking. You want to talk about Danford? You've seen him in the summer with Carnivale, right, with the Prodigy team.
Yeah, I saw him a bit there with the
Yeah,
Prodigy. I think it was Prodigy Gray. I think he might have been. I think he was also
yeah,
at.
yeah.
Wasn't he at
And
draft?
Rogers is on there as well, and Ethan Thomas were on Prodigy Gray. Yeah.
I think what those boys were also playing. I know. I think Tom's is on a different team in draft day, but weren't they all? I believe they were in draft day as well. I believe, right?
Yeah, I think Tom's was on one of the mix-up teams.
Yeah, he was on the Prospects East, I believe.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, Danford, Tom's, Rogers. I mean, just watching like Tom's just a sturdy guy. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
tough to knock over. Just the finesse on him as well that he's got for a guy who's kind of as built as he is. Just the soft hands. But Rogers and Danford really lead that back end. Just the ability to move the puck up efficiently, start the breakout, but also on the offensive line, just hold that and maintain offensive zone time for a Quinte team. That when they're in the offensive zone, man, I know you know it, but
Oh,
like they just once they're in there,
they
they
hem
can
them in. Like,
exactly sustain pressure,
yeah,
and eventually it just you're either obviously as we know whether it be NHL, OHL, minor hockey, when you have that sustained offensive zone time, it's going to create one of two things: it's either creating a penalty, you're drawing a penalty,
yeah.
put you on the power play, or you're getting a goal out of it. We saw it so much. We've seen it with much of their scores this season. But Quinny's got those big kind of margin victories there, and I think much of that is because of these D leading from the back end. Tom's kind of leading up front as well.
Yeah, definitely. They're great. And I mean, Danford's been getting a lot of, he's been hitting the score sheet a lot. Like he has a big one-timer, big clapper. So look out for that. And yeah, like Quinte, I could go on and on, but those were kind of the 4 that stood out for me. So I'll jump into Clarington. They're another team that was pretty good. They made the quarterfinals, I believe. They have Jacob Therrien, who I interviewed. I really, really like watching him. He's unbelievable. Like just yeah, really, really dynamic. But other guys in there, Charlie Hilton, he's kind of a bigger winger on Clarington. Really kind of stood out for me. Like he's a guy that kind of he gets in there, pressures on the forecheck and causes a lot of turnovers. And he's a good skating, big-bodied winger. Really, really steady, kind of yeah, that power winger like the teams are looking for. I think that he's one to watch for sure. I really like Josh Brady a lot, a right defenseman from Clarington Toros. So yeah, like he's just really, really smooth, really, really good passer, kind of sees the game well. And he's that kind of defenseman, like activate the offense from the back end, rush the puck up. Really, really good skater. So that's the guy I really like. And then to jump into London, London was another team I liked. The Robrook was the top player, I'd say. Weir was good as well, but some 2006s I liked from London, Jet Luchanko. I know you've seen him a lot. Like he's got wicked jump and acceleration. His first 2 steps are just unbelievable, and he gets free like no problem, right?
Oh
You've seen it before, eh?
man, he's got a motor too.
Yeah,
Once he gets going, once he gets like he's like a hound, like a dog on a bone there. Like if he's in a puck race, I'm taking him 9 times out of 10 to win
yeah,
that puck race. And just his ability, like you said, with the speed that he has as well and his acceleration, he uses that so effectively, along with his ability to like angle his body and use his body effectively, angle guys
Yeah.
off and really just kind of take that lane and take a more efficient lane to a net. And he's not afraid to drive the net either. He loves to do that.
Yeah.
So, man, I love Luchenko's a guy I really like watching summer league and on draft day especially.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's really good. So it's just like, yeah, he's just like constantly creating opportunities and whatever. So it's fun to watch him play. Brody McConnell Barker was interesting. Like I thought he was a forward, but since at the tournament he was playing defense for London. His brother's Bryce McConnell Barker, obviously third overall pick of the Sioux Greyhounds in 2020. So like he comes by it honestly, great player, really really fun to watch. Just to list off some more here, like I liked Daniel Vasic, a center from York Simcoe. He's a good skater. He's good. He creates a lot, and he's dangerous every shift and kind of always like out there buzzing offensively. Um, Tate Vader, a center from here on Perth, 200-foot center, kind of that typical 200-foot center, great motor, good stick, kind of a lot of stuff you like. Ian McIsaac as well on here on Perth, taller forward. Yeah, he's kind of slippery and creates a lot of chances. Getting into Elgin, which was the team that made the finals against Quinte. I only have one player that really stood out for me. I find that they're like a deep team overall. And I say this, the one player that really stood out was Colin Langstaff.
Yeah.
He's shorter and he's kind of slight of weight. Like I don't know how much, like I'd be surprised if he weighed 150 pounds, but he is so fast and electric offensively. Like he's always creating, always buzzing, always like seems to always have the puck, and he takes a lot of control over the game. Like especially on that bigger ice, that suited him because London, they've got that tournament set up where the main ice is a big pad. So on that ice, like he could just skate with the puck like all like the whole game. And yeah, he's just really impressive player. Created a lot of offensive chances for Elgin.
I
But
remember I remember
yeah,
seeing Langstaff. I remember seeing Langstaff when Elgin played an exhibition game against Niagara
yeah,
down here in St. Catharines. And I mean, one thing that he was doing consistently in that game was finding passing lanes, just
yeah.
spotting the lanes and hitting them, hitting the tape. And he had a couple. I think he had a couple goals that game, but he was man, he was creating offensively so much. And like you said, just electric there.
Yeah, definitely. Like he's just a weapon offensively. And Ethan Precision, right center from North Central Preds. I mean, he's got a big shot, big, strong player, and he causes a lot of problems. Huge hits, really physical player. Like him a lot. Tyron Fevry, who yeah, like he's a forward from the Toronto Red Wings. Just a ball of muscle. Like he causes a lot of problems for his opponents. And a couple more from Ajax that I liked were Lucas Durham, a forward. He's a good power forward. He kind of fits that same sort of mold as Charlie Hilton from Clarington, kind of that tall winger, good skater, good steady kind of guy. Like definitely a guy that like is a solid OHL prospect with those traits. And Van Williamson, right defenseman from Ajax, that just skates extremely well. Good active stick and does a lot of stuff I like, but that was basically it for the guys that I have down here as players that stood out for me. But the big two, I mean, it's time to get into some interviews here with some of our big players. We'll start off with Ethan Toms from Quinte, unbelievable left center. Like you mentioned, like great stick, just like a 200-foot center, just unbelievable player. So we'll get into it more with Ethan here and yeah, kind of get into his game in the interview there.
Awesome. Here we go. Here's the interview. Ethan Toms.
All right. I'm here with Ethan Toms, star center from the Quinte Red Devils AAA program. Ethan, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Ryan?
Doing great, doing great. I mean, first off, just congratulations on winning the Wendy Dufton Memorial Tournament in London. Like, how did it feel to take that championship, like, especially by beating Elgin, Middlesex Chiefs, who you guys actually lost to in the first game of the tourney? So you got to avenge a loss there in the finals. How'd that feel?
Yeah, thank you. It felt great to take the championship, and I think that first game, it was probably the best thing for us to lose that, to get us a bit of a fire, get a fire in us to come to the final on Sunday and get the win.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you think that kind of drove you for the rest of the tournament, having lost that first one, eh?
Yeah, it kind of
Nice.
woke everyone up on the team to start playing our game and get things going.
Good, good. Yeah, and like in the tournament, I mean, you yourself, you had a great tournament. Like you're a natural goal scorer. You ended up with 8 goals in the tournament, which was tops in the whole thing, and added 2 assists as well. Like, what have you done overall to develop just such a tremendous overall shot velocity and just that elite scoring touch?
Well, in the summer, I shoot a lot of pucks in the driveway, and just I have pockets set up on my net, and I try to just pick the corners, and I actually set up a stick in front of where I shoot, and I try to do like a Austin Matthews toe drag around it, and while doing that, still trying to pick the corners, and just through doing all that, like I guess it develops some velocity on the shot. So
Nice, nice. Yeah, like I went and watched the Leafs practice one time, and actually Austin Matthews, he never shoots on a net like straight. There's always something in front. That's pretty
yeah,
cool. Pretty cool that you do that. For me, like another part of your game that stands out is you're that complete 200-foot center. Like how much of an emphasis do you place on like the defensive end and then basically transition defense into offense?
yeah. Defensive play to me is by far the most important part of my game, and I think if we can play good enough defensively in our own end, it should lead to good offensive opportunities in the other end. And I think my goal is to play good enough defensively so that we can get scored on or not get scored on as much, so that can help the team win. And yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. Like I noticed like in the defensive end, you're always like stalking your check and you're tough in there. Like you're once you get like kind of on a check, like you usually win those battles and it's great to watch. Um like overall, like the defensive game, offensive game is great. So looking in the NHL, is there anyone there that's influenced your game? Are there any like main attributes you've learned from any specific players that you follow in the show there?
Yeah, well, yeah, Sidney Crosby
Nice.
is definitely someone I watch and look up to, and his defensive play, first of all, is definitely something I watch and try to do, and something like his face-offs. He's great on the face-offs, and some of the attributes is like how low he is when he's skating, and how powerful his stride is, and how smooth it is, and when he's down low in the corners in the offensive zone, like his body positioning to get the puck off guys and protect the puck off guys too. And then setting up guys in the slot to get good offensive or get good opportunities is amazing. It's fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, that's great. Like you mentioned setting up guys in the slot. Honestly, at the Dufton tournament, I watched your team most of the tournament except for the final day. And I noticed like you kept setting up shots in the slot over and over and over again. That first game, I think you was like 4 or 5 of them. You got set up someone in front like perfectly, and I actually got tape of the championship game. And the first couple periods, you set up a few like really really nice ones in front. Like, is that something you find you're good at? Is finding those guys in front of the net?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it is my teammates too. Like they
yeah,
can read off me too, and I read off them, and I think I can know where they'll be and hit them right
yeah.
on the tape.
Yeah, no, it's like you hit them right on the tape and give them great opportunities. So really obvious to me. It's great stuff. And I mean, you've got a great motor. Your skating's really strong. You mentioned a little bit ago how you like to stay low, get those hips low, get great rotation through your shoulders and hips. And like you just position your body so effectively, depending on whatever situation it is. And like it helps you protect the puck, win puck battles. Those are like huge things in your game. Is continuing to upgrade and improve on those aspects of your game a priority for you to kind of continue developing and improving?
Well, yeah, of course. I try to you know, strive to be better in all aspects of my game, and if skating is one of them, then yeah, I'll try to be better at that. But I feel like if there's any part of my game that needs to be worked on, that brings, I don't know, it brings great importance to work on it and
Yeah.
make changes. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. Like, I mean, when you're trying to talk about improving and whatnot, and I mean, um, things that you're looking into and whatever, like it, like basically everything, right? Like everyone's always trying to be better at everything, but yeah, like I really noticed those skating abilities that you have, and they're so strong, and I think that they're going to translate really well for you at the next level. Um, so getting into some kind of more fun ones around the rink, are you a bit of a superstitious guy? Like, do you have any pregame routines that are a must?
Yeah, I think I'm a pretty superstitious guy. I think one of the things it starts at home. I tape my stick at home before every
Oh
game,
yeah.
and between the time I tape my stick and between the time I touch the ice, like my blade of my stick cannot touch the ground, or else might have to redo it. And in the car ride home or the car ride to the rink, I have to drink a chocolate milk before every game. Those are pretty much my only things that are my pregame rituals or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, definitely. Like it's working for you, so don't change anything. That's for sure. And then get into your, I don't know, some other stuff like non-hockey stuff. Do you have any non-hockey sports teams you follow, or what's your favorite non-hockey sport?
Yeah, and me and my dad, we watch a lot of Jays games, so we're big baseball guys. Yeah, my next favorite sport to hockey is baseball. When I was younger, I played a lot of baseball, and yeah,
Yeah, no,
for
I'm a
sure.
good big baseball fan too, big Jays fan. So when you were younger playing, what positions did you play in baseball?
My main position was pitcher, and then shortstop, and then center field.
Ah, awesome. Yeah, a lot of control in those positions. Like you're a centerman in hockey, you control the game, and it doesn't surprise me that you're at one of the key spots on your baseball teams that you were on earlier as well. So that's interesting. And then just the last one here. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
If I could only eat one meal for the rest of my life, it would be probably a pasta dish with sausage, peppers, and or red peppers and penne.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
nice, nice,
it's a good dish.
nice, nice. That's something that you get at home a lot. Something that you like.
Yeah,
Nice. No, that's good. That's good. Awesome. Well, I mean, I took up a lot of your time, so thank you so much for coming on the pod. And again, congrats on the great tournament in London. And
thank you.
yeah, just good luck with the rest of the season and the OHL draft.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
And we're back from the interview with Ethan Toms. Ryan, first off, just a phenomenal interview there with Ethan Toms there. I mean, I know back when we did our Quinte Red Devils episode for the 2005 age group, when you got invited to go watch kind of their scrimmages there in Quinte, you saw him back then, and you were already kind of a big fan of his game there, and you were like, wow, this 2006 kid, we're going to have to keep an eye on Ethan Toms here. So, I mean, this is a player you really like, eh?
Oh yeah, no, I've really liked Ethan Thomas for quite a while now. I think it was the first player we ever mentioned on the pod.
I think
Because
so.
because we brought up Quinte, and then I said, oh, before we get into 05s, let's talk about this Ethan Thomas here. Because when I went down to Quinte that time last year, he was playing up with the 05s, and he got a hat trick, a couple assists in the game that I went and saw. So I was just really surprised. Like the things that stand out for me about him is just he's a natural goal scorer. He scores tons and tons of goals. And he gets them in a variety of ways. Like he can deke, he's got a great shot, like really, really powerful snapshot. And overall, like just a solid 200-foot center. Like he said in the interview, like he likes to start out by playing strong defense and then turning defense into offense. And you notice that, and like pays attention to details. Like the back check is strong, back pressure, kind of like like basically like limiting the opponent's chances when they're in the offensive end, and then causing turnovers and being disruptive, and then just turning the puck like moving the other way, right, and turning it into offense. Transitioning defense into offense is a real big strength. So I like him a lot. Like there's a lot of little things like face-offs. He wins a lot of draws for Quinte, and yeah, he's like, I don't know. I'd say he's the best player on Quinte in my opinion. He had a great tournament. Like 8 goals was the most in the tournament, and I mean he started the ETA season just lighting it up, and we put a bunch of the highlights on during his interview. So that's some of like the sample of kind of the handiwork he can do, and really really good player. Like I think like even though he only ended up with 2 assists in the tournament, actually he had 8+2, but he only got credit for 7+1. But I kind of saw that he missed a couple points there, but he assisted on the game-winning goal in the championship game, which was a 1-0 win over Elgin. But like it was really noticeable, like just kind of like him setting up plays in front of the net. He always kind of finds the open forward in front, and puts it right on the tape. And unfortunately, like a lot of those didn't get converted for goals, but yeah, like he's all around like really good. So like player that I'm definitely rating really high for this draft for sure.
Yeah, just a complete player. I is probably the best way to put it, I guess. Um, I mean, when you hit on the point there of the way he can score different goals. I mean, for anyone who's watching on YouTube specifically, if you want to see some highlights or even check out the Instagram, I mean, you can see the quick shot that he has, just taking that puck in the slot and it's off his stick, just in a snap, and also on draft day, a nice little finesse move, just kind of gliding in there and peeking out the goalie there for a beautiful finish. So it's just that ability to kind of pot the puck in different ways, be a threat with the shot, but then that shot opens you up to, hey, the goalie's got to respect the shot. So then you got that deke option, and he's got the hands to really just feather it in, pot the puck in the net there, which is great. But it's one thing that stood out to me in the interview was just the level-headedness too. Just he understands what it takes, and he understands that he's got things he wants to improve on, and he understands that if he's got things he wants to improve on, he's got to work. And he's going to put in the work to do that. And it was great to see kind of just that mindset that he has with Quinte there and for his game.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you in the fact that he's a player that I personally can't wait to watch at a tournament. I know by the next big time I'll be able to get to a tournament that Quinte will be in is probably the Silver Stick, and I'd imagine Quinte will be big contenders at the Silver Stick there.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, he's a simple guy. Like he keeps it simple. Like just kind of takes care of what's in front of him, and yeah, it's just like it's interesting. Like meeting him for the podcast and talking to him a little bit. It's just like I mean, he's a hockey player. Like he just focuses on like the task at hand, and like he basically can do everything. So I see him as that kind of well-rounded center that pretty much any OHL team would be looking for, and I see him as a really really good player. So yeah, let's jump into the next guy that I interviewed though. So Jacob Therrien from the Clarington Toros. So we'll chat a little bit about him more after the interview. But yeah, let's jump into the interview with Jacob right now. All right. I'm here with Jacob Therrien, star forward from the Clarington Toros. Jacob, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, thanks. A lot of fun watching you play so far this year in Carnaval Valley hockey with Prodigy and also at the London tournament. It's been a lot of fun watching you. And one of the things I really noticed when watching you play is your ability to generate that separation from your opponents with your game-breaking speed. You make tremendous cuts too, and you have super quick feet, which help you blow by defensemen in a blink. And that stuff's really awesome, really electric. What have you done to become such a fantastic overall skater with that good jump and acceleration?
Thanks. Yeah, I think it has lots to do with me being a multi-sport athlete. Along with hockey, I play lots of lacrosse. So yeah, lacrosse has a lot to do with cutting, quick feet, and just running in general, getting a lot of power in my legs. But I think it also has to do with my off-ice workouts. I do a lot of power and agility workouts that give me better hip mobility, so I can move side to side and be as shifty as possible.
Awesome. It's so noticeable that you do that work by your play, and that quick feet with lacrosse. Like, you notice it in hockey, you got those quick crossovers, quick feet, jumping by guys, and that agility, that burst, that first two steps is really, really powerful for you. And yeah, like in addition to that, like you got this wicked shot, firecracker snapshot, and you wire that with great velocity and accuracy. Like what is that all about? Like, how have you become so elite at, generating those shot setups quickly and getting those hard, accurate shots off in stride?
Yeah, well, it comes a lot with practice. I'm lucky enough to have a good shooting area in my basement where I practice lots of releases and different shots to beat goalies. But I think I've been training with 3 zones since I was younger, and we work lots on moving my feet and shooting on the crossover, getting the shots off quick. And using the defense as a screen, right, too?
Right.
Mess up the goal and everything I can.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, getting those shots off in stride at full speed. I mean, you don't slow down at all to get the setup or stop or anything. It's all one motion, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. And like, I mean, you're talented all around, and you generate plenty of scoring chances in the O zone. Your ability to pressure D and cause them to cough up pucks is something that really stands out for me. Intense puck pressure, like, is that sort of style and using your physicality to force turnovers something you emphasize on the attack?
Yeah, well, being a smaller forward, I think I'm built pretty solidly. So
Right.
pressuring the D with my speed and, like, I guess size, being solid, push them back on their heels and try to force them to make a risky pass or cause a turnover. I think it's working really well for my line mates. We're getting lots of chances, and yeah, capitalizing on those.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like you mentioned, you're a little shorter and but very sturdy. Like, I kind of look at you like a Ty Nelson at forward kind of thing for this draft. So that's awesome. Like you're really physical and you cause a lot of problems for the D and on the opponent side. So just another one here. You got, if you had 3 words to describe yourself as a player, what would you use and why?
The first word I would use to describe my game would be tenacious. I'd use this word because even though I'm smaller, I like to try to win all my battles, play physical, and be a threat out there. Second, I would use shifty. I feel like I'm really fast and moving side to side, and I can beat defense with my quick feet. And lastly, I'd describe my game as creative. I feel like I have a big toolbox of moves, and I never want the D to know what I'm going to do on the rush. So I always try to do something new and try to create chances for me and my line mates.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like the creative one. You got some wicked moves. I saw you pulled the Prodigy, put on their Instagram. You pulled the lacrosse move. So you got all kinds of skill in your hands, and it's noticeable with your moves. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Are there any players in the NHL you model your game after?
Yeah, I think Brendan Gallagher. He's a smaller
Cool.
forward, wins lots of his battles, gets in the corners, tenacious. And then I think also Mitch Marner, just his vision for the game and his overall skill. I try to put that in my game.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I I don't know if I like the Gallagher one too much. I'm a hardcore Leafs fan, so I like the Marner one better. But Gallagher, like when you're a fan of an opposing team, like I'm a fan of Toronto. We've seen Montreal a lot, obviously, and like to me, I can't stand him. So he must be doing something right, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Um, are you a superstitious player? Do you have any pregame routines that are a must?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I have any crazy ones, but one of them is I like to take a cold shower before I leave the games. Another one would be if I'm playing good or yeah, depending on how I'm playing, I won't rotate my stick. I'll keep it as is, don't mess anything up. And then lastly, I would always put my right stuff on before my left piece of gear.
Interesting, interesting. So I mean, if you're scoring a lot, how does that tape get? Does it get pretty rough sometimes?
Yeah, my one right now I'm using white tape and it's like pretty much black right now.
That's
So,
awesome. Yeah, because you keep scoring. Yeah, you're on fire. And yeah, let's get into some fun ones here. Like, what are you watching? Are there any like TV shows or movies that you'd recommend to a teammate?
yeah, I'm not a big movie guy or TV show guy, but a few ones that I like are like Goon or Miracle on Ice. Just a couple I haven't watched, but I haven't watched them in like a couple of years. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a big movie guy.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I know the hockey movies are always good though. I always like those. Like I love the Goon movies and yeah, they're pretty sweet. Um, and yeah, if you could have dinner with any celebrity or athlete, dead or alive, anyone at all, who would you choose?
I think I would choose Wayne Gretzky just to have the opportunity to sit down with him, learn how he sees the game and thinks it. It'd be pretty special.
Oh, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. Like with hockey off for so long, I watched a lot of vintage hockey and I watched a lot of old Gretzky games and just because I missed hockey when earlier in the pandemic, quite a while ago now, and just the way he sees the game, like
Yeah.
passes he makes or stuff like other normal people wouldn't even think of, right? So awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jacob, for coming on for the interview. And yeah, just best of luck with Clarington, with the Toros for the rest of the season, and very best of luck at the OHL draft.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, and there was our interview with Jacob Therrien, forward with the Clarington Toros. Toros, Clarington Toros. My goodness. Okay. Anyways, aside from my inability to speak and pronounce Clarington Toros, Jacob Therrien, I saw him first when I caught a 2006 game in the summer league there. You were there as well and just watched him sit out there. Then draft day, once again, consistent theme here. Stood out again, kind of just with his play and just the way he skates and his shot and all that fun stuff there. And then obviously you caught him at the Dufton, and I mean I think he had what 10 points.
Yeah, he had quite a bit. Like I think it was 9 or 10. Yeah, he was solid. Like the stat keeping wasn't the greatest, so I think I saw 9. So like I think you could safely say 10 plus probably.
Yeah, so he was. I mean, he was just money. Like on that Clarington team. He's just a driving force for the offense there. I'd say. And obviously, you've seen him a bunch. I mean, you see the highlights. We put some highlights there on the video, and we put some highlights on the Instagram there. But just watching him, his skating. You talked about in an interview with him, and his ability to just generate that speed, those quick crossovers. But also, I think what stood out to me is his deceptiveness as well. He can kind of slow it down a bit, make that quick cut, lead the D one way, and then quick cut inside. And then he can really, once he's there in the spot he wants to be, he can just finish it off with that shot he has. And that shot's electric.
Yeah. Yeah. The big thing is the shot is huge. I mean, like he talked about it in the interview. Like it doesn't take time to set it up or take much like time with the release or whatever. Like he works on different releases. He works on getting it off in stride. He works on doing everything in one motion and it shows in his game. Like you watch all his goals, like he's shooting at full speed. He's shooting while his feet are moving. And yeah, he's so fast, right? Like, I mean, a lot of his success comes from that speed right off the bat. And those quick feet, those feet are constantly churning and he's got those quick crossovers and gotta love a lot of his game. And I mentioned it in the interview. I kind of see him as like with that shorter stature and that kind of like tree trunk legs and kind of really like kind of stocky kind of build. Like you see him as almost like a Ty Nelson as a forward.
Yeah.
I don't know if like you kind of noticed that similarity, but I mean Ty Nelson, like that's a lofty expectation. He's a first overall pick, but Therrien's like a top prospect in this draft, and that's a great comparable, I think. If you're kind of looking at someone in the OHL right now that might be similar, because Ty had that big shot and was like really fast skater with those quick feet. So Therrien, he's complete all around. He mostly plays right wing, but he also plays center. So yeah, Therrien, man, like it blew me away. Like obviously like asked him for the interview. Top player for us in this for me in this tournament. Covered it basically the whole tournament. So he was one that I really wanted to talk to, and yeah, we had to chat with him, and it was great. So yeah.
No, it was great to see. Also, I think one thing that caught my attention in the interview as well is I know as much as to the dismay of us Leaf fans, is he also kind of
Oh yeah.
model his game a bit after Brendan Gallagher, which went with, he said one of the 3 attributes that he described himself as a player as is tenacious. I mean, when you watch Brendan Gallagher, I'd say he's pretty tenacious. I mean, he's annoying if you're playing against him, but he's tenacious, and I think that's what you want, especially with the guy. I mean, he talked about it. He's smaller, but he gets in there and he'll outwork guys, which is huge. That tenacity and just getting in there on the forecheck there.
Yeah, and like when he was talking, like when I mentioned him being a physical player, he's like, yeah, like I am a physical player for a smaller guy. And when I mentioned it, like I just meant he's a physical player just for any person, any player, right? Like he's just a really kind of like he gets the pressure on and he lays huge hits. Like even though he's a little shorter, like I don't think it hurts him at all. Like it almost makes it better for him because he can be more stealth. Like he's so slippery, like so like he can just squeak by and like I don't know whether it's like doing moves like in the open ice or like along the boards when he's trying to pinch him on the boards, like he'll just go right through. He gets low and it's really hard for them to stop him. Like he's a wrecking ball. He's unbelievable.
Well, he's fearless. Like
yeah,
you talked about it.
He's not scared. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, one of the highlights I put in there, he actually sent it was, I think it was at the Dufton might have been actually, where there's a fumble at the point by the player there, and he poked the puck past, and then boom, just snuck past the point there, and he was off. He was just gone. Yeah. And he ended up taking it around the back of the net and finishing on a wraparound. But it was like just the combination of what you mentioned there with the shiftiness, kind of not afraid to get in there, but also that speed, acceleration, and then he just showed off the finishing ability on that play there. But I mean, just Jacob Therrien's a player I'm looking forward to watching develop as the season goes on. Watching him produce, and he'll be in the ETA. Clarington's going to be in some tournaments here going forward, so we'll be excited to see how he does facing some different competition and all that. But overall, just outstanding player, and it was kind of great getting to see you talk to him. Rather, holy jeez, great to see you talk to him and kind of get his insight and all that. I especially like this thing about his tape job there, his superposition.
Yeah. I don't know if he's gonna tape his stick all year. Like I don't know about that one, but he's unbelievable. He gets goals every game.
Gosh, he might not. If he doesn't retape it, he'll either have, like you mentioned in the interview, black tape, or he might not have any tape left on his stick at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
But just from the Duftons specifically, just thanks so much to Ethan Toms and Jacob Therrien for hopping on the pod with us. I know it took the time to talk to you, and we really appreciate him coming on, getting that insight from the two of them in that respect. But Dufton was obviously a great event. Once again, congrats to Quinte on that tournament win. I know we'll be seeing them probably on a few more Sundays in some tournaments, but we'll jump into the next tournament that I got to attend. You got to attend on Sunday for a few games there. That happened in Markham. Unfortunately, it happened at Canland, Scarborough, which is freezing, might I add. Holy jeez. I just got to add that in there. Freezing rink. But Sylvia Jacobs Fall Memorial Tournament. Lots of great teams in there. A bunch of G teams who are going to be hanging out at the top of the standings. Who I think both you and I have probably pegged top 10 teams in Ontario.
Mhm.
Probably could even put that as Canada in type Canada range.
Oh, definitely.
You could even try to put that in perspective there. But I mean, just to put into perspective here for people, Mississauga Senators were there, JRC, Marlboros. You have the Markham Majors, who are going to be a team to compete who are going to be competing hard this year, and be a team to watch. North York Rangers,
Yeah.
team there. Just a great tournament, first of all, and I mean, how do I put this? The first game of the day, I got to witness the Sens and kind of see the hype that was around them to start the year. And I know they lost a few guys. I know Carter Lowe left and now playing for the Toronto Marlboros. A couple of their D, Dylan Wolds and Lex Terrence, went to Markham Majors. But my goodness, their first game of the day, man, on Friday morning, bright and early, 8 a.m., and they did not miss a beat. Playing against Halton. And I think the one thing that stood out to me about that team is their coach. I overheard their coach, and he talked about this is their Stanley Cup with the team facing them, and they came out and they just dominated. They won, I believe it was 8 or 9-0. One goal doesn't matter, but like just the way they play, the up tempo pace that they play, everyone's moving with a purpose. There's always someone open, looking to move into some open space. Always someone for the D to pass to. They move efficiently, and they've got guys up front. They've got guys at the back end. They've got solid goaltending. And it's like it's so hard to face. But I mean, the JRC ended up taking that tournament, and they made an addition, man. Henry Mews. We'll talk about him a bit later because I had the chance to talk to him. But just overall, the tournament was incredible. I mean, I know you got to attend on Sunday, and you got to attend a pretty good game on Sunday. I know we both were watching. You took some video specifically in the game between the North York Rangers and the Toronto Marlboros.
Yeah, no, that was cool. Like I took that video of Luke Ellenas's penalty shot, which I mean, I don't know if that was legal. That was like a tricky one. He kind of stopped, but I don't know. I got a bunch of messages after I posted that one online, about whether that was a legal penalty shot or not. But it counted, so that's about as legal as it gets, right? And yeah, like you mentioned the Sens, like when I watched them preseason against North York, I don't know, they were playing in Burlington here at Wave Arena, and I remember like getting home from that game. I gave you a call. We talked about it after, and I thought like, are these guys going to lose all year? Like I thought that they probably weren't going to. So that's great for JRC to take them down in the championship game. And JRC is another tremendous team. Like, oh, like it's so awesome watching them. I think that those are like JRC and the Sens are the top two teams in Ontario and probably Canada, right?
No, I definitely agree with you there. But I mean, like the JRC had a great tournament. I'd say they were in a really tough division as well. Just they had a tough game to start off. Brantford gave them a real run for their money. It came real close. I tell you, a few bounces the other way.
Brantford's good.
A few bounces the other way, and I think Brantford might have taken the game there. But I mean, the JRC came out 4-2 win in that game, and they didn't look back, and they kept going and going. In that final game, they really showed some resilience in that final game. Just they got down 1-0 early to the Sens, and they bounced back with several unanswered goals, and just showed why they deserve to be up top in that conversation with the Sens as the top team in Ontario here. But other than the JRC and the Sens in that tournament, we had a great game in the final. I mean, the Marlboros, once again, they're a different type of team. They don't have a Paul Ludwinski type player, I'd say, who's really you see at the very, very top of the draft at the 4 position, who's got that hands, who's got that speed, who can really take over the game. But I'd say that the Marlboros this year, big boys, man. I know you saw it in the game against North York. I mean, Sam Dickinson, you got Carter Lowe, just big boys who can kind of bully their way around. They'll wear you down, but they also got a mix of finesse in there with guys like Justin Bodno, and Beckett Seneke, just at the 4 position there. But the Marlboros are going to be an interesting team this year, and they're a big team. And I know you saw them against North York there.
Yeah, the Sens Marlies, like Seneke got that really unbelievable goal where he was like he's so shifty and he just kind of goes side to side with that great lateral movement and wicked hands. Like he's a dangler and definitely a fun one to watch. And I think Dickinson's probably their best player on defense there. Like he's really good. He's huge and he's so strong and sturdy. He's kind of just yeah, he's kind of like that flagship D. Like he kind of like sets the tone for the whole team the back end there. And yeah, like that Carter Lowe is good. He's got some shiftiness and some he's got the height and that power and speed. So yeah, the Marlies, I mean, they're top 10 team in Ontario for me. But I mean, I don't know, like it's not like the typical Marlies where like it's a top 3, top 2 team. Like I think that they're like in the latter end of the top 10 for me right now. Just but yeah, it's early in the season, right? Like it's hard to really say right now, but they're pretty solid.
No, absolutely. I mean, then you got teams like Markham. The Markham Majors this year are going to be a great group to watch, in my opinion. They play with a ton of energy. They really kind of shored up the defense, really added some great pieces. I think a lot of people, anyone who paid attention to the OHL draft last year, remember Zane Parekh.
Yeah.
He got drafted late there, so I believe it was Owen Sound.
Yeah, it was Owen Sound, yeah.
Unfortunately, like he told everyone on Twitter there, he wasn't quite eligible yet, but fortunately for Markham though, he's a part of their decor. They got Lex Terrence, Dylan Wolds, just great back in there. But their forward group, Jack Dean, Liam Greentree, just a couple guys up front who lead the way up front, but also just the way their forward group and their whole team really kind of work together. They've got that chemistry there that I think really is really interesting to watch. Especially, I mean, I saw their roster. So many of their players go to the same like school, Everest Academy. So they know each other. They understand each other's habits. They're friends. They're all friends with each other. So they've got that chemistry and they bring that energy. And you can see it on the ice the way they play. I mean, I remember watching Greentree at draft day and just the energy he has. Like they enjoy playing the game, and it's fun to watch watching them play. And it's clear like they made it to the semifinal and lost a tough game. I believe it's 3-1 to the Sens, but they were in it and they were competing. So it's the Markham Major is going to be a team. I think I pegged them as a top 10 team, so they'll be a team definitely to keep an eye on this season as well. But just going through as well, like Niagara was competing. They made it to the quarters. They had a couple tough matchups, but they really kind of came on later on. You mentioned Brantford, real tough team to play against. Lucas Carmeres, I know he played up with the 2005 Brantford 99ers. 2019-20, he appeared in that Bantam All-Star game actually too. So Brantford's a team, real tough team to play against. They came really close to make it to that quarters. May have bounced here or there in several of the games, and they might have been in the quarters instead of a different team. That's just some teams there. I know Don Mills made it to the corners, tough loss to the JRC. There's tons of players I just want to get into here who stood up for me. I'll kind of go by team here. I'll start off with kind of a name I heard a lot when I was walking around the rink, Malcolm Spence.
Oh, no.
He's
Spence. Yeah.
Man, just ridiculous. I watched first game of the day against Halton on Friday. The puck, he just accelerated, picked up the puck essentially on the goal line, and just showed that kind of edges and cut in front, and then finished around the goalie so swiftly. And just the way he plays, he's got that swagger on the ice. He was making plays. He was kind of getting after it, and he's got the shot he has. I think might go underrated a bit, but he's got that scoring ability there. He was an impact player all tournament long for the Sens there. But in addition to Spence, another guy, Bodie Stewart. He was money. He was money that tournament. Just the power he generates, but the two-way game that he plays. He's able to stretch the ice. He's able to hit that wide pass to his other forwards there. But he's also great down low. Watching him move, he's got that he works down low so efficiently with his edges, kind of cutting back and forth, but he shrugs off checks. Guys are going to hit him, and they'd be bouncing off in, and he'd be using them almost as a spring. Like they go to hit him, and he bounces off, and he pushes off, and he creates something out of nothing, essentially, in the corner. The Bodie Stewart play I really like. And he's got that finishing tight, quick hands there. I really enjoy watching there in terms of that. William Eggleton is another forward on the Sens. Just lots of speed, little finesse there, but high work ethic. He really gets in on a forecheck, and he was getting in there a lot and really creating a lot, forcing pucks loose. One goal in the semifinal against Markham was essentially he created a turnover with his forecheck, used his speed, got in there quick, use his body, and he isn't afraid to be physical, I might add. But he got in there, forced the puck loose, eventually bang, 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 couple passes, and they plotted for a goal, which started with him on the forecheck. William Eggleton was a guy who stood out there for me. Another player, Brayden Turley. I'll skip him for now because I know I got the chance to talk to him for an interview. So I'll save him for a bit later when we play the interview for our listeners and our viewers. But kind of another player there on the Sens. He actually transferred from Don Mills, Riley Patterson. I know he's a guy you're hiring as well, there, Ryan.
Oh yeah, no, Riley Patterson, I like. All the guys you mentioned are unbelievable. Like you mentioned Stewart and Spence off the top. When I went and saw them in preseason, they got 2 goals each, and the Sens got 5 goals in the game. So those two are money, like just unbelievable players. But Riley Patterson, I like a lot. I saw him in the summer quite a bit, and draft day, various things, and he's a guy I've always liked. Like he would look like he was set to play for Don Mills, but then he ended up with the Sens there, and he's that center, like that all-around center, just a complete game, and he's a scorer. Like he can really finish, and got a big shot. So I like him a lot, Riley Patterson.
Yeah, he was just like you said there. He got that finishing ability. He was finishing a lot in the tournament there. But he's also, one thing I noticed, he's not afraid to throw on the body too. Like he was
Yeah,
on
he's
some big
physical.
hits.
Yeah,
He's a big kid. So it was
Yeah.
great to see that, and he really stood out there at the tournament. Gabe Frasca's another guy. He's got hockey runs in the family there. He's got a couple brothers playing in the O right now, but he was coming along. He was coming on as the tournament went on, really picking up some points there, really finding guys. He was playing in all situations, PK, power play, all that. He was really finding guys, creating offensively. So that stood out there for me. Along with Frasca there, another player who I really like watching the Sens there was Quinte Lyle, right wing player there. Just watching him play, huge energy guy. One thing I love about him as well. I want to mention, I love kind of watching them get on the ice. Sens might have the best entrance on the ice, by the way. Best walkout, one of the best walkouts, by the way. Got to mention that. But his energy, just a woo he gets when he leaves the dressing room there.
Yeah.
Quinte Lyle, on the ice, after it all the time, getting after it. The physicality he plays with, knocking guys off pucks. Any chance he gets to make a hit at the right time, too, might I add, though. Any chance he gets to make a hit, he's making that hit, and he's putting that player on their butt, on the ice. And I love watching him play because he's got the energy. He gets in on the forecheck. He forces pucks loose, but he's also reliable in the breakout. He's great down low. He opens up kind of space and time for his teammates, gets the puck, kind of does the dirty work, but then he gets to his teammates. And he can set guys up as well. He's got some really nice finesse as well, I must say. Had a real nice goal. I think it was actually in the semifinal or final. Yeah, he potted one off the rebound there, which is right in his wheelhouse. He's not afraid to drive the net. So Quinte Lyle was a player who also stood out from the Sens there in that Markham tournament. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a couple of their 07s. First off, Michael Misa. If the name sounds familiar in terms of Misa, Luke Misa, a friend of the podcast, who we got to have on from the 05 Oakville Rangers last year. Michael Misa, man, he was flying out there. I'm telling you, he came one bounce, if the puck bounced one other way and bounced into the net instead of wide here or there, if that puck goes in, he was ready to go off. He was going to go on a streak. Like if that puck went in, he was going to go on a streak, but he was creating offensively, finding players. He was really using his skating, his speed to really get in there, drive the net, not afraid to drive the net, shiftiness, his quick, his looseness, really using that effectively. Michael Meese is probably one of the top, if not the top 07 right now in the class. Probably you got that discussion. I'd really love to see kind of the Sens face London. You got the 07s.
There's 2 on each team. That's crazy.
Yeah. As I'm about to mention, William Moore, big player. I think he's like 6'6'1". I shout out him as well. I know anyone who's going to listen to our Brayden Turley interview will find out he's the man behind the Ox on the Sens. Shout out William Moore for the money work on the Ox there. But man, he is the way Moore plays. He's fearless, strong player, kind of a two-way player, power forward type player, I'd say as well. But he had a couple really nice plays in the final game. Ripped one for the first goal of the game against the JRC. Had a really nice assist. He was creating a lot throughout the tournament, opened up ice. Just huge. He's got some nice finesse as well. But William Moore and Michael Misa, a couple of sevens. You mentioned a couple of sevens earlier, but 207s
Yeah,
on the Sens. Lots of 07s, man, in this playing up
exactly.
here.
Like for anyone counting, that's 507s that we've mentioned. Brady Martin, Waterloo, Ethan Weir, Ryan Roebuck, London, William Moore, and Michael Misa, Missy Sens, like you just mentioned. And this is unusual for there to be this many high impact underage players playing up. So it's going to be really interesting to see if any of them can get into that exceptional status conversation.
No, absolutely. But just those are just some Sens players that stood out there in the tournament as well. For the Markham tournament.
Yep.
Then the JRC, Henry Mews. I mean, we're gonna talk about him later because I got the chance to talk to him as well. But I mean, Michael Hage. First of all, watching him play, he puts himself into spots to receive the puck. Puts himself in a good places on the ice. He reads the play well. And all tournament long, he was putting himself in areas where he could get the puck and make a play or put the puck in the net. And just watching it in person, I saw him a bit in August there, and just watching his puck reception ability is amazing, which is something I think will really translate to the next level in terms of that. But he was really big time in the tournament. I'm creating a lot for them. Got a 2-way game, taking faceoffs and all that in key situations. So Michael Hage was a standout in that tournament there. Porter Martone, right shot forward. He's from Peterborough originally, but is playing with the JRC now. There, big player, great. I'd say he plays kind of a power forward, skilled power forward kind of game there. But he's got that finish in tight that he showed. He had a really nice backhand goal in one game. It was against Niagara, where he just kind of pulled it in tight backhand roof there. But he was creating a lot in the tournament there. Great 2-way player. He was playing in all situations. So Porter Martone, Jack Van Volsen was a player. He came from Whitby. I know you liked him in some summer league games. He actually stood out there for you.
Yeah, no, he was on the Prodigy team in the summer, and I mean, he's just an unbelievable skater, great center. I mean, all the players you're mentioning are so good. Like, I was watching an earlier game this year. Porter Martone he got the puck and he kind of made a dangle around a guy, made a pass to Henry Mews. He buried it. I put that one on Twitter. Like that whole team, like, I mean, Michael Hage, like, I don't think I've ever been to a game with Michael Hage in it where he didn't score. So like all these guys you're mentioning are so good. Yeah, just really, really high-end draft picks for this 2022 draft.
Absolutely. I mean, just a couple more guys I'll list off here. Antonio Tersini and Anthony Cristoforo on defense. Tersini on forward, kind of 2-way guy. He was really getting in on the forecheck, forcing pucks loose, creating for them. And then Cristoforo on defense, just reliable, solid shutdown defenseman there, moving the puck up ice quickly. Some more guys. Marlies. We talked about kind of Dickinson, Carter Lowe there when we were going through the Marlies, but these guys stood out a bit. Obviously, Beckett Seneke. Just that goal with North York, but he's got that finesse, his skating. He opens up so much. He's got that shiftiness there that you like to see. And then North York Rangers. I mean, first player here, I know you love this guy too. Kieran Walton. Big time player, man.
Yeah, like, I mean, Kieran Walton, he's got pretty much the tools that you'd want. Like, he's huge. He's like 6'5", 200 plus pounds, and he flies. He's might be possibly the fastest skater in the whole draft. It's hard to really say. Like, he does a lot of stuff you really, really love. He's a guy that, like, I mean, all the tools are there. Sometimes you're wondering, like sometimes it feels like he's coasting a little bit and whatnot, but maybe not as engaged in the plays maybe you'd like to see. But like, in terms of overall tools, like, I don't know if it gets too much better in this draft. Like, he's unbelievable skater, and he's got like all the potential in the world, like sky high potential for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the size, he's got the skill, he's got the shot, got the skating there, and he's not afraid to be physical here and there too.
Yeah,
For a guy his
it's those
size.
huge hits. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the tournament overall, he was doing all of that there, just utilizing all his kind of the skill set that he has, and watched him rip one against the Sens. I'm noticing he's got a trademark kind of thing where he likes to come down the wing and then cut middle and fire a shot across his body and rip it that top shelf, which is money for him, and he gets it pretty much every time. So it's don't what's it Don't change it if it's not broken type thing.
Yeah.
So Kieran Walton, I mean, he's in that discussion. Probably along with Spence,
Yeah.
Page, bunch of guys here for that first of all. I know it's really early, but kind of that first top guy here in the draft class. He's in that discussion there. Along with him on North York, Rowan Top's a guy on defense, right shot D, physical, shutdown D. He's a strong kid on the ice. He's not afraid to throw his body around. Real heavy shot from the point there that he utilizes a lot. Another D there, because Sean Atchison is a kid who I really liked watching. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
he potted one against the Sens. He's not afraid to activate. He's not afraid to jump up in the offense, kind of pinch there in the O zone, or move the puck up ice himself from the back end, kind of breaking it out. But he's got the mobility, he's got the skating, smooth skating. He transitions really nicely. But I watched him pot a bunch of really nice ones, setup guys. So he's got that kind of mobility, and he's got that vision that you like to see from defensemen there. Then jump into the Markham majors, Jack Dean, real quick shot, just puts himself in a lot of really good spots. Smart player, but that shot really potted a bunch of really nice ones. Gets it off quick, and it's got velocity to it from Jack Dean there. Liam Greentree, I mentioned him earlier a bit there. One thing that stood out to me with Greentree above all else there was he took some really big hits. Like he was taking a lot of hits there, and guys were being really physical against him. But he wasn't backing down. He kind of go off for a shot. He'd be back out there. He'd be just as energetic.
Nice.
So it's that
He's a gamer,
relentlessness.
yeah.
So he's like you said, he's a gamer there. So that's one thing that stood out to me above all else. But he's got a shot, really quick shot, and high energy game from him. Gets in there, and he kind of brings that energy.
Yeah, like I love that. Like the type of player that like if you see him down for an injury, like he's down, like he's injured, right? He's not just gonna like I don't know, like roll around the ice for nothing. And I like that. Like he's a gamer. I mean, yeah, like it's a player that stood out for me too. I really like him as well.
Absolutely. And next guy, Lex Terrence from the majors. For me, smooth skating defenseman, kind of really mobile there. He moves the puck up ice efficiently. Kind of makes that really good first pass out of the D zone. Not afraid to jump up in the offense. Not afraid to pinch in the O zone. But really good at maintaining the offensive line. Kind of quarterbacks from the back end really well. Kind of I'd call him a quarterback on the back end there in that sense. But he can shut guys down in the D zone as well, which is great to see. He came over from the Sens there. And then another guy we mentioned him earlier there, Zane Park. He ripped a really nice 1T in a game. Who was it against? I think it was against Brampton, where he ripped a really nice 1T top shot. But regardless, one thing that stood out with him, his mobility, his skating. Just moves so well, his transitions. He's able to mohawk, kind of pivot from forwards to backwards really efficiently. Really use that effectively, whether it be kind of defending off the cycle or defending off the rush, or even if he's looking to kind of break out, he can break out with the puck on his stick and by himself, or he can make that first pass and he can take it off ice, kind of starting the offense there, I guess you could say. But Park's a guy definitely keep an eye on after his time with the JRC, with the 05 JRC rather there. Another guy on Markham I liked watching, Anthony Giacalone was a player who stood out there watching him play. Then jumping into kind of some other teams, Niagara, Andrew Vermeulen. He's a player that I've really liked. I just saw him actually in a game against Brampton in their first SCTA game. Vermeulen was money. He's kind of does a complete. I'd almost describe him as a complete player. He does everything really, really well, and it's great to see him. He was doing that in the tournament as well. I know you liked him in some games you got to see of Niagara at one point.
Yeah, no, I really like Vermeulen on Niagara. Like he's that complete kind of player. I saw him in a game against North York. He got the first goal of the game in the first period there, and Niagara, like they took it to North York. They had a lead in that game. They ended up losing. I think Kieran Walton came back and got him a little bit. And Luke Allenass on North York, they came back and won that exhibition game. But yeah, I really like Vermeulen. I mean, like got a big shot. I mean, good overall forward. Like he plays a little center, a little wing. And there's a few forwards on that Niagara team. I'm sure you're going to get into the next two. But I like Parker Forland and Luca Testa for sure from them as well.
Yeah, you just hit on the money there. Luca Testa, Parker Forland, a couple guys who were creating a lot that tournament. and they really came on as the tournament got going there. And Luca Testa, I mean, congrats to him. He played in his first kind of junior game there and potted a
Oh
couple,
yeah.
2 goals there. So congrats to Luca Testa there. But Luca Testa, high end talent there, lots of skill. His skating strike kind of reminds me of like a Luke McNamara type player with the hop he has. You know, he reminds you of some other players as well. It's just the hop he has and the skill he has, but it's his scoring ability is off the charts there. He can put the puck in the net like no other there. And then Parker Folan, just kind of he's a steady guy. Like he's not gonna blow you away with this breakneck speed, but he really kind of slows the game down. He kind of changes his pace to open up and create time and space for himself. But he's a guy who I liked watching. Another player I also really liked on Niagara there was Dominic DiFrancesco.
Okay, yeah.
He high work ethic. Watching him play, he's after it. He's always getting after it, which is something that stands out right off the bat with him. He was constantly, when you're the other team, you better know that he's coming at you and he's coming at you fast. And he's forcing turnovers, he's forcing pucks loose, and he can finish too. Like he goes to the net.
Oh yeah.
He's not the biggest guy, but he goes to the net, and when he gets that pass, he finishes and he hammers it home, which was great to see.
And I just want to add, like when I saw them in exhibition, he got a couple points in that game, banged in a goal there. I think it was off a rebound or something. And I think he got a nice assist off a pass on a 2-on-1 or something. So no, he's one that stood out too. He's a really kind of a hard worker, right?
Absolutely. And then another team here, Brantford. A couple of guys here who really stood out when I got to watch them. I got to see a lot of them in the game because of the JRC. In a tough game there, and I got to see him a bit here and there as well. But Lucas Carmeres, I mentioned him earlier. He was laying the body that game. He's
good.
Beauty goal. He's got the finesse, and he's not afraid to get in the physical there and get in on the forecheck. Heck of a player. Really good player there. And then Brayden McCallum as well. Oh gosh, he scored a beauty goal as well that game. Holy jeez. Those two were driving force that game.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, bounce here or there, and they might have won that game, but those two were driving force that game and throughout the tournament. Another notable player as well, I think, worth noting to keep an eye on for Brantford in the future is Merrick Vanacker on Brantford there. Notice his name's come up a lot, but I didn't get to catch him as much in terms of Brantford play. Carmeres and McCallum kind of stood out in the games that I got to see, but Vanacker's a name to keep an eye on there. I'll run through some names here as well. I didn't get to see every team at Markham and the Markham tournament there, but just some names who I saw little bits of, or some players to keep an eye on. I mean, Vaughn's always a tough team.
Yeah.
No matter what year it is, they're
always deep. They're always a deep team. They always play as a team, and they're always really, really tough. And they're always a tough tournament out.
Oh, absolutely. And that was exactly the case this tournament. I mean, they were led by Sam O'Reilly, Logan Sawyer, Justin Tavares. They also got Marcus Trifon on defense. Just some guys to keep an eye on. I know you got to see them live against the JRC in an exhibition game, but watching them a bit at the Markham tournament, those are some guys who kind of little bits here they stood out there and are some notable players to watch. But I know you got the chance to watch them against JRC.
Yeah, I really like the big one. I think is Sam O'Reilly, big winger. I think he's got to be at least 6'2", 6'3", and man, he had a heck of a summer. Like when I was watching him, really, really good player. Like the other ones you mentioned, impressed, but Sam O'Reilly, he's the big one for me. I like Landon Miller in net too, big goalie. He's solid as well.
That's great. And then just some other teams here. I'll run through it here quickly. Markham Waxers, a couple players here, Jack Good and Frankie Morelli. I know you got the chance to watch Frankie Morelli a bunch as well as I. Summer League, a draft day. And Frankie Morelli is a D. Definitely keep an eye on, and I know we definitely like him on defense, just his overall game and the way he plays, with his ability to defend, with the puck up ice. Just overall with Frankie Morelli, he's a D that we both kind of really like there, and I think you'd agree there, right?
100%. Morelli's he's a beast. Like he was on Prodigy Gray there in the summer, and I mean, like I'd see him. He was playing on 2 teams actually in the summer in the Carnivale League. And it's like see him for a game, and I don't know, he gets like a couple points or 2 or 3 points, and then 2 hours later you see him and he's flying around, and he's got the puck like half of every shift he's out there, and like you wouldn't think if you didn't realize he'd already played a game, you wouldn't think he'd already played a game that day. Like he's just a like nonstop like I don't know. He just activates the offense. He skates a lot. He controls and dictates the game quite a bit.
That's awesome. And then just three more players here I'll go through. Don Mills Flyers, Nicholas Iafredi. Just really shot. That one of the big things with him is a shot, really big time shot. Gets it off quick, lots of power, lots of velocity, and loves to shoot the puck. Iafredi there. And then a couple Halton guys. One Halton guy that stood up for me in the game where they lost to the Sens was Chris Soares. But another Halton player to keep an eye on is Hunter McKenzie. I know I've heard a lot about him. But also in little bits here and there, I got to catch in the tournament. He was looking good. He was standing out. So he's a player on Halton. If anyone gets a chance to watch them this season, definitely keep an eye on Hunter McKenzie there.
Yeah, I think he was an addition too. I think he was from Grey Bruce. I've heard a lot about him and seen him and like his game a lot. So, yeah, cool.
No, absolutely. And once again, congrats to the Toronto Junior Canadiens on taking that tournament. First tournament of the year for them. A tough tourney there. But I got to talk to two players from that tournament, two guys. I'll start off first with Henry Mews from the champion JRC there. Transferred from Ottawa, came over out of the Ottawa region to play with the JRC. And man, in his first big tournament, first big kind of action with that team, he was impactful. I talked about it with him and talked about his game. So without further ado, here's the interview with Henry Mews. All right, we are here with star defenseman from the Toronto Junior Canadiens, Henry Mews. Henry, how's it going, buddy?
Going good. How's it going?
Not too bad. Really pumped to have you on the podcast for the first episode of this season here. I know you guys in the JRC just came off a huge win at the Sylvia Jacobs tournament back in Markham there. But before we get to that, just how good does it feel to be back and playing some meaningful hockey this year?
Oh, it's awesome. It's such a good feeling. It's been a long and hard 18 months, I think, for all of us, and a lot of training, working out, and then we were all just waiting for the day to come. I think we all saw from the Markham this past weekend in the Markham tourney just how much it all means to all the players and teams, and just to be playing some meaningful hockey games again.
Yeah, absolutely. I know me being back in the rink, a lot of people just being spectators. It was fun to get back there, hear all the excitement, hearing the energy. I know you guys, your goalie there is getting everyone fired up too. So that was probably one of the biggest parts. He's got the energy going. So that was a lot of fun from our end, from spectators' end. But I know you got to get back on the ice back in August at draft day, at the draft day prospects event. You were with Ottawa there, and you guys managed to make it to the finals of that. Just what was that event like for you guys, and what was that experience like for you?
Oh, it was unreal, partly because it was the first real meaningful hockey following COVID, but it was also because it was one last chance for me to play with my Ottawa buddies. Those guys are a great group of guys. A lot of them are my best buddies I've played with growing up since novice, and it was pretty special to play one more tournament with them. In that tournament, I actually had the chance to play with the GTA squad. They asked me to play with the GTA squad in that tourney, but I turned that down. I wanted to go play with my Ottawa buddies and prove that we could go far compared to the other leagues as well. And that's exactly what we did. We went on a run. We ended up losing in the finals by a goal, 6-4, I think it was, to ETA. He scored an empty net. But yeah, we all had a great time, in the hotels and in the restaurants after the game. So it was fun.
It's probably fun to get back to the hotels, eh? Having some fun with the funny hotel stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Now, since then, you mentioned you were offered the chance to play with the GTHL there, and since then you've joined one of the premier programs in U16 AAA in the JRC. I know that there's been players in the past like Owen Outwater who've come kind of played with some GTA teams. Owen with Oakville, kind of the past couple of years. What kind of factored into your decision to come join the JRC there, and how's the experience been for you so far?
Well, every year we've gone offers to come down and play in the G, and I've just felt like over the years, like there wasn't really a point at that certain age. But now in the COVID situation, having just missed one of the biggest seasons, our major BAM season, to prepare for the OHL draft this year, we started to look at our other options, like going to the States to play prep at a prep school to guarantee ourselves season. But as we got closer to summer, that draft day tournament gave us a pretty good clue that we think we're going to have a good season, like a legit season this year. and minor midget year in Ontario. And so then we finally made a decision, I think in late August, that we were going to go play in the G, and we chose JRC. I thought that the move to Toronto would be best for my development, especially for me going into my first season as a full-time defenseman. And I thought it was really important to play against like the best of the best in Ontario at my age group to prepare myself for the next level, like the OHL. Another reason why I chose JRC is because I think our coach Dan Siska and his staff are the best of the best. You know, they know what it takes to make it to the next level and to develop guys and be successful. He runs unbelievable practices. We've got a unbelievable group. I love our team. We got an unbelievable group of guys. They're all skilled, hardworking, and we're a team that loves to compete and practice to make each other better. So
I love it. I know you got definitely a bunch of skilled, hardworking guys on that team, especially given the success you guys have already had. And I mentioned the Sylvia Jacobs Memorial Tournament in Markham there. You guys were in a tough division and had some tough games, especially off the start there with Brantford giving you a tough matchup. But you guys ended up coming away with the big dub there against the Sens in the final. Just can you talk to me about how you felt, kind of your first big games for the JRC and how the team progressed in the tourney there?
Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for a better start than that. I mean, it was awesome. I think it was awesome that we were able to play some top teams early on in the season. And I felt really good, you know. As the tournament went on, I thought I got better and better, more comfortable and a lot more confident in my play. Yeah, as I said before, we got an incredible group of guys, and you know, we help each other get better each and every day at practice and games. The energy in our room before every game is just so high, especially since it's the first like meaningful games, first tournament since COVID. So we got each other going, you know. But yeah, I think we were really well coached. We're really well coached, and we played a consistent, hard, working, responsible, complete game in both ends of the ice, which I think is key to being a team that's hard to beat. You know, other than that, I think we just play as a team, and we understood that team success will lead to individual success. And I thought that we just wanted it more than any other team in the tournament, and I think our hard work really paid off.
Yeah, it definitely showed. I mean, you guys came out specifically in that final game. You guys, the Sens jumped out to a like quick start there with the 1-0 lead, but then you guys jumped back on them there and came back and scored several unanswered goals. And I mean, as for you, I mean, I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but if they go check out Rain Hernandez's media page there, he showed your highlight goal in the highlight assist rather to Hage in the semi there. I mean, I know my math can be off sometimes, but did you have like a 5-point game in all those games there?
Against Don in the quarters against Don Mills, we had a 5-assist night. It was pretty awesome. Like I said before, as the tournament went on, I got better and better, I found. And on Sunday, I think I had like 9 points in 3 games. It was unreal.
Just pumping them out there, buddy, eh?
Yeah, it was good.
That's great. Now we'll jump into your game kind of here. The first thing when I watch you that stands out, I mean, your skating and mobility are a huge part of your game. And I mean, they stand out right off the bat for anyone watching. Would you say it's a catalyst for much of what you're able to do on the ice, or how do you like to use that mobility in different situations there?
Yeah, well, I think obviously skating is a huge part of the game now. Nowadays, without my skating, I wouldn't be able to be an offensive threat to opponents. And, you know, because I wouldn't be able to be as offensive as I am, I wouldn't be able to get back and play responsible in my own end. So because of my skating, I'm able to get in the rush, jump in the rush, and create some offense for my team. And I'm able to get back and play some good defense as well, just as good as my offense. So yeah, I'd say it's a huge part of my reason why I'm able to take advantage of my offensive skills and be a dangerous threat every time I get the puck anywhere on the ice, whether it's in my D zone for a long stretch pass or in the offensive zone. Yeah, but I love getting in the play and jumping in the offense with my teammates. So.
Now speaking of the offense there, I mean, when watching, you're an aggressive player on the ice in terms of just your willingness to activate on the offense, whether it be kind of breaking the puck out of your own zone yourself and carrying it out and having that ability to kind of have a breakout on your own, or kind of joining the rush or pinching in the O zone. kind of things like that. Why is this aspect of kind of this aggressiveness and being so forward in your game so important to you?
Well, I don't know. To me, without offense in the game wouldn't be fun for me. Like I love offense, and it's one of the biggest reason why I play the game. I just love offense, and I just love controlling the game and seeing the ice as a defenseman. Just love setting up my teammates for goals and getting my team on the score sheet. And yeah, it's actually kind of funny because the boys now, since I came, the boys call me an offenseman instead of defenseman.
No
'Cause,
way. Oh my God.
yeah, they call me an offenseman instead of a defenseman because they say I'm the fourth forward. So, but yeah, I just love creating opportunities for my team and, putting up big numbers from the back end, while at the same time being responsible on my own ends. And, like I said, I use my skating ability to be up in the rush as the fourth guy and also be the first guy back to play some good defense. I love offense, and whenever I get the chance to join the rush and activate from the point or dish guys with a long stretch pass, I'm going to take advantage of it. So, Siska and Danks, Siska is our head coach, or Danks as our D coach, they always make sure that I know when the right time is to go and the type of game that we're in and or team that we'll be facing, so I can adapt and play any way the coach wants me to or the team wants me to. So, I can turn into that shutdown mode and shut down the opposing team's best players and eat up big minutes in a close game at the end of the game. But yeah, I'm grateful that my coaches, they let me play the type of game that I play.
I think what stood out there as well is the fact that you got that kind of two-way game too with the D side, how you got that offense pretty down pat, I'd say, but the defensive side, you got that. You're not with offensive defensemen, they can sometimes kind of, I guess, kind of struggle on the defensive end, but for you, it's not the same case. And to hear that you got that coachability and you're taking the coaches and coaches advice and stuff and still being responsible defensively, I think that's huge, especially when transitioning to the next level, I'd say as well. And I know you said before you kind of made a transition to defense like more permanently. And I know you played forward and defense previously.
Yeah, I played forward in the winter, every winter season in Ottawa. And in the spring, I'd come down to Toronto and play with my buddies, Hag, Martone, and those guys in Toronto. I'd play with them as a defenseman in those elite tournaments in the spring. But yeah, partly the plan has always been to go back to defense. Like since novice, I've always loved D. But I played forward in the winter just kind of to develop my offensive skills and abilities. So when I go back on the point, I'm just that more dangerous and special. Like I'm more of a threat as a defenseman and dominant.
Wow. Yeah, that's huge, especially because it gives you more, it even gives you more versatility.
Yeah.
I think really displays like the hockey IQ that you have out there. So that's kind of really awesome there. And we talked a lot about hockey there. So I'm going to jump into some other stuff outside of hockey. Now, if you weren't playing hockey, what would be your go-to sport?
I played pretty much every sport growing up. You name it. I played soccer in the summer with my buddies, volleyball and basketball with my school. Golf is something I've really gotten into over the past few years, especially since COVID's arrived. And so yeah, I played a lot of golf with my buddies. But yeah, I think I like every sport except for baseball. I think I really don't like baseball, but I would sometimes play with my buddies and at a park or in their backyard or something. But yeah, whenever hockey season ends, my mom, my parents, they really push me to take time off the ice and focus more on working out, getting stronger in the gym, and getting the chance to go play other sports, and be athletic and have some fun.
Yeah. Do you have a team? Any team outside hockey that you root for?
Obviously the Raptors in basketball. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much it. Also, whenever the Sens play the Leafs, now since I'm in Toronto, I'm a big Sens fan.
Oh.
So whenever the Sens play the Leafs, obviously the other night in the Sens opener, they beat them. So I got chirped the day after at practice, but yeah.
Oh, man.
Big Sens fan.
We're talking to a Leafs fan here, man. That was a rough game. Gosh, that hooking call got me though. That at the end there.
Yeah, I know who was it? Tavares, yeah.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
Oh,
I'll give it that.
Man, you guys, Sens always give the Leafs trouble, man. It's not, I don't even know why.
They're a tough team to play against, I find. They're a
Yeah,
really tough team to play against.
for sure. Now, going away from sports, what in school, what would be your favorite class? And what would be your least favorite class?
Well, I don't know if gym counts, but it'd be gym. But my favorite academic class would be French. You know, growing up in Ottawa, I've always attended a French school, and so I can speak French and understand French pretty well. And this year, since I moved to Toronto, it's actually the first year I'm not attending French school. I'm trying to adapt to an English school now. So
Geez, how's that been, I guess?
it's good. It's pretty easy. You know, it's obviously English my first language, so it's not that hard.
Wow. So you have a least favorite class at school then?
Yeah, my least favorite is definitely math. I'm not a math guy at all. I'm still pretty good at it, but I really don't like it for some reason.
Yeah. Yep. I can relate. I'm in the same boat there, buddy.
Yeah.
I got a finance class next semester in university, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with the math problem. So math is definitely not my forte either. So I relate to that. But all right, I got a fun one last one for you. I got a fun one. I like this one. If you were at a karaoke night, what would be your go-to karaoke song?
Well, the boys on JRC, our win song is definitely a banger. I really love it. It's called Die Young by Keisha.
Oh no way! Yes.
Yeah, that's definitely the go-to song. So
Oh my God! I was on Instagram this morning. There's some
yeah, the
trend
big
going on.
trend. Yeah, there's a trend at university going on at the universities. Yeah.
Oh my God! That's a good one.
Yeah, we play that every time we win. So far, every game we've played it.
So anyone at JRC games is probably gonna be hearing that a lot this year.
Yeah,
I think it'd be safe to say that. So
yeah,
don't anyone standing by the dressing room, don't get annoyed by that song because you're gonna hear it a lot this year. So
yep, exactly.
but that basically does it, Henry. Listen, thanks so much for coming on the pod. It's been great talking to you. Hopefully I'll see you again throughout the season. I know I'll see you at the rinks when I come out to some tourneys and JRC games, but thanks for coming on the pod, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
And we're back from our interview with Henry Mews, defenseman with the Toronto Junior Canadiens. Great getting to talk to Henry. Just such a fun guy, such a great player on the ice. I mean, in that tournament, man, I talked about with him, his mobility, his skating, huge. Like it just opens the ice for him so much. Draft day, tournament, just his ability to open up ice and kind of take control of the game with his skating was huge. I know you love watching him at draft day as well, but he was the guy, just money at the tournament.
Yeah, Mews is unbelievable. I love how he named himself the offenseman, or I guess his team called him that. He is. He's nonstop. Like he's a defenseman. When I first heard about Mews, I got some connections in the Ottawa area, and I'm like, holy crap! Like this guy got so many points in I think it was U14, and he's listed as a defenseman. And then someone mentioned to me, no, he's not a defenseman, he's a forward. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then no, he's like, it came over to Toronto. You see he's playing defense. But like, I love that when you hear about a guy that used to play forward, now plays defense, plays that offensive game. I mean, you start to think of a guy like maybe like a Cal Ewens, right? From last year's draft, a guy that grew up mostly playing forward, moved over to defense, and plays that offensive game from the back end. And the versatility of those types of players, like it's unbelievable. It's a big thing. Like I think to be that type of player, you have to be an exceptional skater and you have to have really, really high hockey IQ. And I think Henry has those two things first and foremost.
Oh, absolutely. I think it really highlights the hockey IQ I mean, we saw with Cal Ewens, with the hockey IQ that he has, the coachability, and we're seeing it with Henry Mews here, with his ability there. But it's just watching him play, he has the ability from his own zone. If he's under pressure, he can escape that pressure, and then he has the ability to really just carry the puck out on his own. Just hit that breakout, forget the pass, he'll just carry it by himself. Yeah. He has that ability, which is something you love to see from a defenseman who could take over the game in that way. But then when you look at him in the offensive zone, I mean, he handles the point and quarterbacks the point so well. With his holds the line. Then he kind of use that skating, whether it be kind of jump in on the boards or hit the middle and hits that mohawk and gets in there. And then he sees the ice so well, so he's able to find the lanes and then hit the lanes with his passing ability. He's got a really nice shot too, I gotta say. I know you posted a highlight of his goal against the Vaughan Kings in the exhibition game, and he can hit that. Hits the corners there with that shot. And like we mentioned, the common theme with him is putting up the points there, which is huge, in that respect. But like,
he's loaded with skill too. Like his hands, like it's just unbelievable, right? Like, how like I don't know how many guys have taken the puck off him, like on a stick check or whatever. Like you pretty much got to get the body on him, or else like he's gonna make you look silly.
yeah, I mean, you put it perfectly there. If you don't hit him, you don't get the body, it'll make you look pretty dumb. So it's like, but Mews is a player. I think as the year progresses, we'll see him. I mean, he's probably already top player, one of the top players, probably in that conversation, like you mentioned there earlier, with guys like Walton, Spence. Who else? We got Hage, his own teammate there.
Yeah, it's a little early. Like it's hard to say. I think it's pretty much wide open. I think
I'd agree.
so. There's quite a few guys that are on the list for me. Like I've got probably 10 possible first overalls right now, and a lot need to play out before we know that. But
Yeah,
he's in that conversation.
yeah, exactly. And he's high end talent. He's got the skill, but he can also. I noticed as well. He doesn't, even though he's kind of the offenseman. I guess as he put it and his teammates put it, he doesn't. He isn't detrimental on the defensive end for his team either. So which is huge for a defenseman. I think what you see with a lot of offensive D, especially like if you're looking at guys now, players like Carlson, as they're progressing, they still have that mindset of offense, but they're detrimental on the defensive end, which is not great.
Yeah, like a Ryan Merkley kind of thing. Like it can be detrimental defensively, but like Mews, like you mentioned, like he's not. Like he's got that good active stick, and gets the puck, gets a stick in there in the passing lanes, and causes a lot of disruptions. And his skating, like you can't beat him off the rush, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's his aggressiveness. His aggressiveness
he's
opens up the ice a whole lot. And I remember an interview I saw with an NHL draft prospect, Scott Moore, and he talked about how like the aggressiveness, whether it be in your own zone, you're under pressure there, and the aggressiveness to be able to kind of just you see that open space, take it, go for it. And that's Mews kind of. I noticed that's his kind of a mindset when he's on the ice. Is if he's got that space, he's taking it, he's going with it, and he's not afraid to make plays and just jump up and do his thing there, which is great to see. And I think a lot of teams, when Henry Mews is on the ice, are gonna have to keep an eye on him. Don't give him too much space, otherwise they'll make you pay there. I know OHL teams, whichever team gets him later on in the year, when the draft hits us here, they'll be excited to have him on their squad. So Henry Mews, definitely a player to keep an eye on. But the next player I got the chance to talk to was from the Mississauga Senators, Brayden Turley. Outstanding left shot defenseman on the Sens there. I think he might be underrated in some respects.
Yeah.
From just what I'm hearing right now, from what I've seen so far, I think he's underrated. I think people might sleep on this guy if they are right now. But
yeah, because like I came out with that list, like it was like 33 players to look for in the draft, and I pretty much had that as like my top guys. And I remember I saw him again after, and then I saw some highlights of him, and then I saw him at the Markham tournament that morning, and I was like, I should have had him on that list. I was like, that was a huge miss. So yeah.
Yeah, so he's just such an intelligent player, such an intelligent person.
Yeah.
So without further ado, here's our interview. Here's the interview with Brayden Turley. All right. We are joined on the U16 pod by star defenseman with the Mississauga Senators, Brayden Turley. Brayden, how's it going, buddy?
Amazing. Thanks for having me out here. It's great.
Awesome. Now, I mentioned there you're with the Mississauga Senators, and I know your team has had quite the success over the years, and it's been fairly well known within kind of minor hockey circles. The success you guys have had. Going into this year, what would you say the expectations are for your team and yourself as you go into kind of your OHL draft year here?
Yeah, obviously we've had lots of success in the past like 5-6 years, and something we've been looking forward to is the OHL Cup, pretty much like our whole minor hockey careers. And that's obviously a big goal that we want to win. And personally, I just want to do everything I can, like get better, stronger, learn from my coaches and teammates to contribute as much as I can to, yeah, hopefully win the OHL Cup.
Awesome. And I know, obviously, with kind of the success you guys have had, obviously, I think there's a certain sort of pressure that can also come with that. How do you handle the pressure that comes with essentially being, I guess you could say, the team to beat in the GTHL or minor hockey here?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really take it as pressure. It's just normal to us since it's been like that for like a while now. You know, we like being the team to beat. Everyone's gunning for us. Everyone wants to beat us. You know, we love that feeling. We used to use that motivation, and yeah, that's what leads to our success.
I like that, kind of using it as motivation type thing, because I think I was at the Markham tournament there, and one of the best lines I heard was from your first game before you guys head out onto the ice. I think one of your coaches said, I think it was Halton you were playing. One of your coaches said, "This is their Stanley Cup."
Yeah, it is. That's what he says.
Is that kind of the consensus kind of mindset you guys go into when you go play teams throughout the year here?
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to beat us for like how many years now? Like 6 years it's been. Everyone's, we're the top team out there. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Stanley Cup.
Awesome. Now, I mentioned the Markham tournament there, and as we get kind of closer to the GTHL season, and as it gets closer to getting going, you guys had a lot of success in that Sylvia Jacobs Memorial tournament. And I know, despite the tough loss, what did you think of yourself and kind of your team's play as the tournament progressed there?
Yeah, it was just great to be back playing real hockey with the boys. You know, obviously not the outcome we wanted, but you know, it was a good tournament. And you know, we're just going to use that as motivation again to be back next tournament. And we're just going to keep on working every day to be back next tournament and look for redemption.
Yeah, and I guess despite the loss, I guess it's better you kind of maybe take a loss now rather than, I guess, later on in the season.
Yeah, it's better early on than later.
Awesome. Now, jumping in your game here, one of the things I love watching you play, especially in that Markham tournament, just watching you skate. Your mobility and your skating is just something I love to see. Just the way you're able to kind of your transitions from forwards to backwards and kind of breaking out of your own zone there, and kind of your ability to create time and space for yourself, specifically in the D zone, to get the breakout going is something that stood out to me when I was watching you. Is this something that kind of has come natural to you, or how has this developed for you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a really smooth skating like defenseman my whole life pretty much, but I've obviously always been working on it. I work on it every day. It's a big tool to have as like a defenseman, being strong skating, like escaping pressure in the D zone to lead to like a nice breakout pass. It's great to have.
Absolutely, and kind of that breakout pass. That's a great segue to kind of the next part of your game. I really wanted to hit on was kind of your ability to make that first pass and make it consistently, whether it be kind of to the close side, the strong side man on the boards there, or even the far side kind of guy in motion streaking up the wing there. How important is that to you to not only make that first pass but really make it consistently?
Yeah, I mean, without that first pass, you could be like stuck in your zone for like 1 minute, 2 minutes. So that first pass is really important. And I feel like my forwards help me a lot on this. Like they're always talking, they're always open. And I feel confident that if I put the puck on their sticks, they can usually get something going down low in the offensive zone and hopefully put the puck in the net.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned communication there. I know watching you guys play at the Sens, you guys are so up tempo, like quick, kind of moving.
Yeah.
Everyone's in motion and kind of there's always someone open to pass to. Is that communication there really always there for you guys and so really key for you guys?
Yeah, it's something our coaches have been like really pushing this year, especially. It just makes everyone be better, helps everyone around you. And yeah, it really helps me out, I'd say.
Awesome. Now, I've talked about kind of a couple of strengths, but is there any aspect of your game that when people watch you that you think maybe might go underrated or might get overlooked?
I mean, yeah, my strengths, first off, yeah, I think I'm a really hard to play defenseman, hard to play against. You know, I'll battle. I like being physical, really physical. I'll throw some big hits. And I think I have a really good active stick in the defensive zone. And I also have the smooth skating ability, like I said, on the blue line, making shots, getting shots off quick. But you know, something I have 9 great forwards again. They usually have the ability to put the puck in the net a lot. So like I usually don't get to use my like goal scoring skills as much as I can because my forwards usually take care of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think because you're so good defensively, I think that that'll definitely be something that can get overlooked. But with your skating, I know especially in the offensive zone or on the like walking the offensive line, you're able to probably open up a lot of lanes, open up kind of passing seams, whether it be feeding the guy or just hitting the lane, the shooting lane, and just firing it past the goalie there. So that's a huge thing I think as well. And then kind of jumping away from hockey a bit here, but do you have any superstitions or what does your pregame kind of routine look like for you on game day?
All right, yeah, it's pretty basic, I'd say. Starts at home with chicken and pasta. That's my pregame meal. It's usually the favorite there. And usually I'll get dressed, make sure my sticks are taped, so I'll pack my bag, stuff like that. But once I get to a rink, I'll get a good stretch in, get a good warm up, and do any like extra focusing and music, listen to music. But like this one superstition, I guess you can call it, it's I always put my left skate for my right skate. I don't know why. It started a couple years ago, and yeah, it's just a thing that's stuck with me now.
Nice. I like that. I always like hearing the little superstitions there. Left skate over
Yeah.
right skate.
Mhm.
It gets just gets you in the right mindset, I guess, eh?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Nice. And I know you mentioned you like to listen to music there. So do you have a favorite kind of music that you like to listen to at the rink, and then a favorite kind of music maybe away from the rink?
Yeah, so usually at the rink, like in our change room, you'll hear lots of hip hop and rap, which is really popular nowadays. And that's what I prefer, honestly, too. Gets me ready, gets everyone ready. But outside of the rink, nothing really changes. You know, I like hip hop and rap, but I'll throw in some like popular music I hear on the radio, like any stuff like that. Like I have a wide variety of music, I'd say. I'm fine with anything.
I know you guys. I was at the Markham tournament there. I know I was standing by the room, and you guys get the music going when you guys coming out of the room
Walk
there.
out, yeah.
Who's got the aux there for the Sens?
Usually it's William Moore. He's
Oh
he's
yeah,
control of it. Yeah, number
so
16.
he's the one getting you guys fired up with the tunes there before the game.
Yeah, and we got the walkout song. It's a new thing this year.
Oh yeah, I
If
got
you heard it.
I had my buddy Shazam that because I was getting fired up to that one too. You guys, I gotta get whoever got that one, man. Shout out to Moore there for getting the tunes going
It's a
because
good
that
one.
you guys look pumped when you get on the ice. Like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, if I was the other team, I wouldn't want to be facing you guys, watching you guys come out of the room there. So
yeah.
definitely got the right tunes going. And then going away from kind of hockey and kind of that kind of thing, some fun ones here for you. Let's say you're stranded on an island and you can only bring 3 things with you. What 3 things are you bringing?
First off, I definitely bring water because you know you need water obviously to live. And you know, second thing you need like I'll bring a fire, like stuff to bring a fire because you know that can help you stay warm overnight, and you can maybe like cook some food on it. And the last thing would be like a satellite phone, so you can just like contact, you know, maybe get out of there if you want, because that'd be a good idea. But yeah, you can pretty much contact anyone if you need some help. So yeah, that's 3 things I'd bring.
I like that phone one. I like that.
Yeah,
That's a new one. We didn't hear that one last year.
it's definitely helpful.
Is your phone something you don't think you could live without?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh my god, that's yeah. I'm in that same boat there.
Yep.
I definitely should not go check. I'm not gonna go check how you know how it keeps track of how much you're
Yeah.
on it. I'm
Screen
not gonna go.
time.
If I went and checked that, my parents would be very mad probably at the amount of time I'm on that. So now, last one here. If you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you would buy?
It would definitely have to be it's every athlete's dream, like their own like facility, like hockey rink and stuff like that. You know,
Oh yeah.
including like a whole like I like sports, like multiple sports, not just hockey. You know, I'd throw like a putting green in there, like big turf area, you know, pretty much anything you can think of, basketball courts. That'll be my big purchase. It's amazing. Have friends over, just have a good time there. It's amazing.
That'd be sick. Just having all the
Yeah.
sports there. Do you have a favorite sport outside of hockey?
It's either golf or football. I never play football, but I just enjoy watching it and fantasy stuff like that.
Are you in fantasy right now?
Yep.
How's your team doing?
4-1, first place.
Ooh, nice.
Yep.
What's do you got you got like a NFL team that you root for kind
I
of?
mean, not really. I'd say the Bills just because they're like close, but I don't really root for a team. Like I just enjoy the sport.
Nice. I think that the whole thing would probably be a really good option, especially having all those facilities there, especially a
Yeah.
hockey rink. I know you'd probably do much better than whatever Canada Scarborough is with that freezing cold rink there.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys had it easy play. You guys probably had it somewhat easy playing, getting warmed up there, and all the spectators. I know I was standing next to Rain. We were standing there by the end, shivering our butts
Yeah,
off.
it's
So,
freezing in there.
but listen, Brayden, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate you taking the time. Just Mississauga Senators are going to be a team to watch this year. So we'll see you at the rinks, and thanks again for coming on the pod.
Yep. Thank you for having me. Had a good time.
All right, there was our interview with left shot defenseman Brayden Turley from the Mississauga Senators. I mean, he had a great tournament, great Markham tournament there, and I talked about it with him in our interview there. But the one thing that jumped out at me which was huge, well, multiple things, but the big thing for me was noticing his first pass, his ability to hit guys, whether it be the near side guy or hit that stretch pass. I mean, I put in some highlights there with a couple stretch passes that were on the tape, and it was like, holy geez, nice pass there, man. Like through traffic on the tape, finding that lane, whether it be a small lane or a big lane, he's hitting that, and it's on the tape too. And his guy receiving the puck, they don't got to worry about kind of stopping and turning around or whatever. It's just on there, and they can get going right off the bat there. But his first pass, I know when you saw some of the highlights, you were like, holy geez, some of these passes.
Yeah, like that. I think it's like right at the start of that one video, the first one is just, I mean, he has the vision. He can see it.
Yes.
Like his forwards are flying and he's hitting them like right at that offensive blue line, and it creates so many chances for the Sens. Like it's unbelievable what he's able to do. And I think overall with Turley, the biggest thing I love is the physicality. I love those throwback defenders that throw those massive hits, and he's big and strong and does well with all that. And like he skates well, and like, I mean, like it's so hard to stop him on a breakout. Like when he's got the puck and he's breaking out with it, he can make the passes. He can skate it out. He can do a little bit of both. He can do a pass and do a give and go, right? Like
Yeah.
he's such a complete overall defenseman, and like he's got a big shot too. Like so much to like I mentioned before, it just kills me that I didn't have him on that article that I wrote. He definitely should have been there. He's definitely like I see him as a top player in this draft.
I think he's got that shutdown defenseman type role.
Oh yeah.
That type of role there. But I think something where, I mean, you talked about it, his ability to kind of offensively as well in the offensive zone, his mobility opens up so much for him, whether it be on the blue line or kind of maneuvering around. And then that shot that you mentioned there, just that big rip, you can pot it with that. But just, I mean, you mentioned the physicality, but he combines that with his skating, and he's able to escape pressure so well and create space for himself. And he's so poised. Like he doesn't panic under pressure. He's not the type of guy when some guy's on him, he'll just quick few strides and then rip it off the board. No. He's gonna take those quick few strides, then he'll try to shake the guy off, do a couple quick turns here and there, then create that space, and then he got all kinds of time to do what he does best and make that first pass, beauty breakout pass, which is huge, which is something teams love for a defenseman. Get that up to the forwards, wastes no time, gets it up there. But I mean, it's just his forwards must love him. Like, imagine getting that pass there.
I know.
Just starts the offense and wastes no time. His coaches must love him. And he just talking to him, just smart player, really intelligent kid, and just humble, just understands the game. Really high hockey IQ, I think. So he's a player I can't wait to watch more of and develop this season. Man, it's gonna be great to see.
Yeah, like I mean, the bit like that, those passes are just unbelievable, and his vision and just how accurate he hits the guys with. Like when when I go back and I went back and looked at some of these highlight clips that I made of Malcolm Spence and various goals that the Sens have got so far this year, like early this year. You look back and you're like, oh, like who's the guy who made the stretch pass? Because you kind of forget that. But when you like, I'm like,
that's a big
looking, I'm
part
like,
too, though, right? That's a big part. Like that first
yeah,
pass.
no, it's huge. But like, I don't know. I always like focus on like, oh, like that was a nice goal or whatever. That was awesome or whatever. Write a bunch of stuff down and this and that. But then like when you look into it more, and it's like that was Turley that made that pass, and then it was Turley that made that pass. And it's like he keeps popping up, like he's making all these like stretch passes, and I'm like, oh, he must have got like 4 assists in that game. Like, and it's just like it's just from those like really, really hard, crisp, accurate passes.
Yeah, and it's not basic passes either, where he's got giant open ice to
Yeah,
hit a guy
exactly.
where the other team's changing. He's hitting those small seams, whether it be on the breakout or even in the ozone where he's spotting his man cross ice or whatever. And it's those small passes, and he hits it on the money, which is, I mean, it's unbelievable.
And going to the next level, like to the OHL, like there's not a lot of space in those seams, those gaps. Like you have to hit them, and you have to hit them hard, and it has to hit the guy like in stride at full speed so that he can get in without like having to kind of maneuver and kind of figure out his footing and whatever. Like if he can get him in full stride, like that's going to create a lot of goals in the OHL for whatever team drafts him.
And it's I know you've mentioned this before. The pace is quicker at the OHL level too.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
with that, with it, the way he plays, being able to
Mhm.
create that space and hit those passes quickly too. He wastes
Yeah,
no time
yeah,
making those passes.
exactly.
When he sees it and it's there, and it's a great
He hits it.
option. Exactly. So it's something that I think it's translatable, and it's something I think OHL teams will love seeing as the year goes on. And it was great talking to him as well. So just can't thank Henry Mews and Brayden Turley enough for joining me, talking me, kind of let me get to know them off the ice, as well as kind of give me some insight into their game as well. But definitely, obviously, JRC and Sens are 2 teams to keep an eye on this year. But Turley and Mews, couple D, definitely going to want to watch as the year progresses, see how they develop, but just outstanding players as well. But I mean, couple great tournaments that Thanksgiving weekend, Ryan. Dufton, Markham.
Awesome.
Once again, congrats, Quinte. Congrats to the JRC. Just, I mean, that huge first episode here to start this season off. I mean, we'll be looking to kind of get the season going here. The Ottawa teams are in action. You got the kind of 06s. Nathan Villeneuve is off to a hot start out there. Ben
Yeah.
Cormier, Hunter McKnight are a few guys out there. Cole Beaudoin out there. So we'll be hopping into some Ottawa action as the year progresses, talking to some of the boys out there. But just a phenomenal first episode, I think, covering the tournament, talking to some outstanding players. I think it was just great getting the insight from all these guys, eh?
Yeah, no, it's great. Like it's great to be back in the rinks. Great tournaments. Like I gotta thank the London Junior Knights for the hospitality at the tournament there, and obviously the Markham majors as well for their hospitality and all that good stuff. So yeah, no, it's fun to be back. Nice long episode. I don't know how many people we've got left here at the end, but yeah, we wanted to put out a banger for the first one. Just a really good episode here. Like lots of content for you.
Yeah, just with the 2 big tournaments. So as we wrap up here, just be sure to check us out on our social media, especially whether it be Twitter, Instagram. You can also follow us on Facebook. Twitter and Instagram, we're at the U16 pod. If you're looking to if you want to message us, feel free to DM us. We do like it when you email us. If you're looking to email us, you can message to Gmail. The U16pod at gmail.com is our email there. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Nice comments, please. No inappropriate comments. Thank you very much. We're family friendly here. But nonetheless, if you're listening as well, feel free to like, comment. Feel free to subscribe, download the podcast episode. We always love that support. Just happy to be back, and look forward to the next episode on the U16 pod. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.